Keanu Reeves, Keanu Reeves.
In the glittering world of Hollywood, where stars are made and broken overnight, one man has defied every rule. He is both an action icon and an internet legend. He has played Neo, the savior of humanity in The Matrix, and John Wick, the relentless assassin who redefined modern cinema. Yet behind the fame, the billion-dollar franchises, and the meme-worthy moments lies a story far darker and more human than the roles he plays. Keanu Reeves is a man shaped by tragedy. Abandoned as a child, haunted by the death of friends and loved ones, and often underestimated by critics. But through it all, he has remained Hollywood's most unlikely hero. Humble, kind, and unshakably resilient. How did Keanu Reeves rise from a fractured childhood to become one of the most beloved stars in the world? Keanu Charles Reeves was born on September 2, 1964 in Beirut, Lebanon. His very name hinted at a complicated identity. Keanu means cool breeze over the mountains in Hawaiian. But his childhood was anything but calm. His father, Samuel, abandoned the family when Keanu was only 3. His mother, Patricia, a British costume designer, was left to raise him alone. Life quickly became unstable. Patricia's work took the family from Lebanon to Australia, then to New York, and finally to Toronto, Canada. Along the way, she remarried multiple times, leaving Keanu with a revolving door of stepfathers. For a child searching for stability, it was a lonely and disorienting existence. School provided little refuge. Dyslexia made reading difficult, and Keanu often struggled in the classroom. Yet he found escape in the arts and on the ice rink. In hockey, he earned the nickname The Wall, a goalie with fierce reflexes and dreams of going pro. But an injury ended that path before it truly began. At home, the family's struggles deepened. Keanu rarely saw his biological father again, a wound that never fully healed. And though he would later discover the joy of acting, his youth was shadowed by a sense of abandonment and rootlessness. These early hardships forged something unshakable in him: a quiet resilience, a willingness to adapt, and a sensitivity that would later define his most memorable performances. For Keanu Reeves, childhood was not a fairy tale beginning. It was a crucible. Keanu Reeves's journey into acting began modestly, far from the flashing lights of Hollywood. In Toronto, he first appeared in small television roles and commercials, doing whatever jobs he could to gain experience. His first real break came in 1986 with Youngblood, a hockey film where he played a minor role. An ironic twist, given his own thwarted dreams of being a professional goalie. Hollywood soon took notice of his tall frame, soulful eyes, and an aura that mixed shyness with intensity. By the late 1980s, Keanu began landing roles in films that tested his range. River's Edge, 1986, revealed a darker, more dramatic side, while Dangerous Liaisons, 1988, placed him among respected veterans like Glenn Close and John Malkovich. But it was Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure in 1989 that changed everything. As Ted Theodore Logan, the lovable, airheaded teenager who traveled through time with his best friend, Reeves became a pop culture sensation. The film was a surprise hit, spawning a sequel and cementing him in the public eye. Yet fame brought its own trap. Critics dismissed him as a one-note surfer dude, predicting his career would fade as quickly as it began. Keanu, however, refused to be defined by a single role. He sought out projects that proved his versatility, from romantic dramas like A Walk in the Clouds to the groundbreaking indie My Own Private Idaho, 1991, where he delivered one of his most heartfelt performances alongside River Phoenix. In just a few short years, Keanu Reeves had gone from unknown Canadian newcomer to one of Hollywood's most intriguing rising stars. The 1990s transformed Keanu Reeves from a rising actor into one of Hollywood's most bankable stars. In 1991, he joined Patrick Swayze in Point Break, playing rookie FBI agent Johnny Utah. The mix of adrenaline-fueled surfing, skydiving stunts, and Keanu's quiet intensity turned the film into a cult classic and earned him his first major action hero credentials. Only a few years later, in 1994, Reeves found himself at the center of a high-stakes thriller that would define the decade. Speed. Playing Jack Traven, a young cop racing against time to save passengers trapped on a bomb-rigged bus, Keanu captivated audiences with his understated charisma and physical commitment. The film grossed more than $350 million worldwide, and overnight, he became an international superstar. But it was 1999 that etched his name into cinematic history. Cast as Neo in The Matrix, Reeves embodied the unlikely savior in a mind-bending dystopia, where reality itself could not be trusted. With its revolutionary bullet time effects and philosophical undertones, the film wasn't just a blockbuster, it was a cultural earthquake. It grossed nearly $500 million, won 4 Academy Awards, and redefined the future of science fiction. What set Keanu apart wasn't only his roles, but his character off-screen. He famously shared millions from his Matrix earnings with the visual effects and stunt teams, insisting they deserved recognition for the franchise's success. He also turned down massive paychecks to keep co-stars like Al Pacino and Gene Hackman on projects, prioritizing art and collaboration over wealth. By the dawn of the new millennium, Keanu Reeves wasn't just an action star. He was Neo, a symbol of cinematic innovation, and a global icon whose humility made him stand out in an industry notorious for ego. At his peak, he wasn't chasing stardom. He was quietly redefining what it meant to be a star. For most Hollywood stars, scandal means affairs, addictions, or public meltdowns. But for Keanu Reeves, the word took on a different meaning. His life was marked less by reckless choices and more by devastating tragedies. In 1993, Keanu suffered a blow that changed him forever. His best friend and my own Private Idaho co-star, River Phoenix, collapsed and died of a drug overdose outside the Viper Room in Los Angeles. Keanu was shattered. He described the grief as a shadow that followed him for decades. 6 years later, as his career reached its height with The Matrix, his personal world fell apart. In 1999, his girlfriend Jennifer Syme gave birth to their daughter, stillborn. The loss tore the couple apart, and just 18 months later, Jennifer herself was killed in a car accident. Within 2 years, Keanu had lost both a child and the love of his life. The media branded him Hollywood's loneliest man, painting him as a tragic figure who carried grief wherever he went. Yet the so-called scandal wasn't scandal at all. It was the unbearable weight of loss. Professionally, his career stumbled. After the triumph of The Matrix, films like Johnny Mnemonic and Chain Reaction were critical failures. The Matrix sequels, though financially successful, left fans divided. In the 2000s, projects such as The Lake House and 47 Ronin struggled at the box office, fueling critics' claims that Reeves lacked emotional range. But through it all, Keanu never lashed out, never turned to excess, never became the tabloid spectacle many stars inevitably become. Instead, he lived quietly, often spotted riding the subway, reading alone in coffee shops, or sharing meals with crew members instead of A-list elites. In an industry built on noise and scandal, Keanu Reeves's greatest challenge wasn't surviving bad headlines. It was surviving heartbreak, disappointment, and the relentless weight of expectation. And remarkably, he endured. By the early 2010s, many assumed Keanu Reeves's career had peaked. His box office draw seemed uncertain, and younger stars were taking the spotlight. But Hollywood loves a comeback, and Keanu's return would be nothing short of legendary. In 2014, he stepped into the role of a retired hitman in a mid-budget action film with little studio hype. John Wick. What began as a revenge story about a man avenging the death of his dog became an international phenomenon. Audiences were enthralled by Keanu's stoic intensity, masterful stunt work, and the film's stylized choreography. Against all odds, John Wick revived his career and launched a billion-dollar franchise, reintroducing Reeves as the ultimate action star of a new generation. At the same time, Keanu's public image underwent a transformation. Viral photos of him sitting alone on a park bench, dubbed Sad Keanu, spread online, turning him into a meme. But instead of ridicule, The internet embraced him with affection. His humility and kindness only amplified the mythos. Stories of him giving up subway seats, quietly donating to hospitals, and treating every fan with respect flooded social media. In 2019, he cemented his cultural renaissance with two unforgettable moments. He voiced a character in Pixar's Toy Story 4 and appeared in the video game Cyberpunk 2077. At the E3 conference, when a fan shouted, "You're breathtaking," Keanu instantly replied, "No, you're breathtaking." Iyaten, a phrase that became a symbol of his genuine warmth. Keanu Reeves was no longer just a movie star. He had become a global symbol of resilience, humility, and authenticity. Today, Keanu Reeves stands as more than just an actor. He is a cultural phenomenon. His filmography boasts two of the most iconic franchises in modern cinema: The Matrix, which redefined science fiction, and John Wick, which reinvented action storytelling. Yet his greatest achievement may not be on screen, but in the way he has lived his life. Unlike many of his peers, Keanu never let fame consume him. He became known as Hollywood's gentleman, a star who valued kindness over ego, humility over excess. Fans admire not only his performances, but also the quiet generosity that defines him, sharing wealth with crew members, funding hospitals, and treating strangers with dignity. His legacy is proof that resilience can grow from tragedy, that humility can exist in the heart of Hollywood, and that true greatness comes not just from the roles you play, but from the person you are. The journey of Keanu Reeves is proof that kindness, even under the harshest spotlight, can turn a star into a legend. If you enjoyed this story, like, share, and subscribe for more untold journeys of Hollywood's most fascinating icons.